Welcome to Scramble Game Show. This show is produced during the month of June when schools are winding up and children are taking exam, preparing to enjoy the summer. And by the time this show is broadcast or cablecast and viewed by the audience, perhaps in the summer. So we thought we would introduce some interesting Scramble games for you to enjoy during the summertime. Now, you see on the table, we have some chips here and cards here. We're not really trying to teach or show gambling here. However, we want to illustrate the Scramble games can be fun and very exciting game, just like the well-known poker games. So today, we're going to demonstrate how do you play Scramble Poker. And Scramble Poker is not that different from regular poker, except it has one important element. That is the learning element that helps you to learn vocabulary, spelling, and words. So that's the Scramble Poker. Now there are many ways actually to play Scramble Poker because poker game has many versions. So for those of you perhaps do not know poker game, so we do a quick illustration and then we'll switch to the Scramble Poker game. Here, I have a deck of cards. These are poker cards, brand new, okay? I don't even want to shuffle them. They are really brand new, ace, 2, 3, 4, up to king, and 4 suits. Now, a poker game, for example, has the so-called Texas Holden. Texas Holden is a game that you play among several people, and each player is dealt with 2 cards, like this. And then there is so-called community cards that is opened up. Obviously, this is in sequence because we haven't shuffled the cards. Now, with your 2 cards in your hand, matched with the 3 cards, you will figure out whether you have a winning hand or not compared with others. And in the process, you put chips in, raise the bet, and see whether other people will either join you or fold. So that's a basic Texas Hold'em game with poker cards. Now, the winning hands is defined by the poker, of course, is like the straight or flush or 4 of a kind, 3 of a kind, or full house, and so forth. And these terminology basically determines whether you have 1 pair, 2 pairs, 3 of kind, 4 of kind, same color suit, and so on. That's the definition of a poker's winning hands. Now, that is a game many people play, particularly in casinos. And it's fairly exciting because any game of chance with some kind of unknown, it does raise your sort of anxiety, and particularly with chips used, people sort of enjoy that excitement. However, the game is strictly basically a gambling game and really don't give you any learning element. Now, where we introduce Scramble games, the whole purpose is to teach or let kids develop a good learning habit. And through fun games, you learn. So the Scramble Poker in this Texas Hold'em will be different, okay? Now, shall I just illustrate that, okay, by using the Scramble cards instead of the poker cards. I'll put the poker cards away. Here is the familiar Scramble cards. And each card has a letter, and the descriptions on the card illustrate some other games you can play. As you know, Scramble games can be played up to 20, 30 games now. I even lost count because we keep on having new games created. However, the Scramble Poker is one of the earlier games, and I think it's a very interesting game we should introduce to the audience, particularly if you are watching this during a summer vacation. this could be a very fun game. Bring the stack to the beach, to wherever you are, and you can play Scramble Poker with friends. All right. Now, I'm going to start the first Scramble Poker game, Texas Holden. Okay? Now, I illustrated Texas Holden before. The way you deal the cards is everybody has 2 cards. Okay? Now I am playing 3 hands in a way. This is your cards, and then this community card is shown. Okay? Actually, let's do it rigorously as a procedure. Usually, before you play, people would ante in a chip in order to get these 2 cards, because that's the right to play. So you got the 2 cards, you put 1 chip in, ante in. When the cards are dealt, you look at the cards. For example, I will look at my cards. Okay? Now, since we are really doing this as a demonstration, I have this U and T. Actually, it's not bad. Now, how do you tell whether you have good cards, bad cards? Depends on the letters you have, whether the letter allow you to make words. And since scramble words, when you make a word, there are points associated with letters and bonuses associated with the word points. So you really have to know not only the distribution of letters, how to make words and so on, but what the bonus may be. For example, this letter U has 3L. 3L means any other letter on the left side will be multiplied by 3 as the bonus. So if you have 3-letter word but, B-U-T, and B is 7 points, and that 3 times 7 is 21 points, and that is a bonus for that word but. Okay? Now, at this point, of course, the community cards are not dealt yet. You don't know what cards will be out, but U and T, it's a pretty good combination. All right? Now, let's say this hand, it's dealt, and if I am the one that really to raise the bet before the community card, I could say 2 chips, for instance. Now, this person on this side have 2 cards, all right? And he will look at it, and he has 2 letters, N and E. 1 vowel, 1 consonant, which is not bad because, again, E is very popular. You can make words very easily. So he feels that he wants to play this hand, so he will follow 2. Okay? Now, this person also have 2 cards, and he has J and T. Now, J and T doesn't have a vowel. However, J is a high point letter, 11 points. So if you have an E coming up, that jet, it's making a fairly high point word. So again, he feels that he will play 2, but none want to raise. Okay? Certainly you can raise like regular poker and make a game interesting. You can raise 2 chips. Now, at this point, we'll start dealing now. Okay, that's the community card. Let's put the chips on the side. Okay, and we'll put the 3 community card up. For Texas Holden, you usually put 3 cards up first. Now, PDW. So you are now, everybody will look for a combination of a word. In my case, obviously, you can do a put, P-U-T, okay? P is 6 points, which is not bad, with the 3L bonus, which is 18. That will be 6, 4, plus 1 is 11 points, plus that 18 is 29 points. Just 3-letter word put, which is not bad. Now, of course, I do not know the other cards, the other people's cards, okay? Here we are doing an open demonstration. Now, so for NE, he can look at it, okay? And he can certainly make a, like N-E-W, new is a word, okay? And he can do P-E-N-D, penned, okay? And he could make a 4-letter word, for example, okay? Which may give this player more points. Of course, he doesn't know my card, he doesn't know his card, so it's, again, a chance that you take. You have to sort of compare to the others. But ultimately, of course, the more vocabulary you have, okay? The words you can make, determines the winning, all right? It's not only by chance, say you have a pair of ace, pair of king, and this is really the part introduced to allow you to be very sort of competitive in building up your vocabulary. Now, at this point, with the PUT is already a word, I feel reasonably good about it, so I would raise or bid 3 chips. Now, and this fellow, since he can even make 4-letter word, he feels that he will follow. Let's say he follow 3 chips. And JTPDW cannot make a word, right? But he feels that the J is a high point that's probably worthwhile to at least go another card to see whether a vowel will come up, because once a vowel will come up, that J could be used. You can make J, for example, if E is coming up, jet, or even JEW, Jew, is a higher point because W is 7. So he will follow with 3 chips. Now, at this point, like the Texas Holden rule is, you're going to burn another card, 4th card. It did show up a vowel. Not only a vowel, it is an I, and this I is a bonus, has a bonus 3L. So any letter on the left side with the I will be a bonus. So if you do PI something, WI something, would be very good, okay? Now, however, it doesn't seem to help me that much at this point with my U and T. Obviously, the audience should look at this, and you can even take a dictionary and check, and you probably can play this better than I can, and say, oh yeah, I know a word I can do right now with the 4 letters with 2 UT make a word. See, beauty about this game is you can make 3-letter word, 4-letter word, 5-letter, 6-letter word. Of course, longer word, chances are you get higher score, but you have to pay attention to the bonuses, okay? The strategy is there. So at this point, I don't see the I help me that much, okay? Because whatever I do, I would have to use the P or W in front of the I to be to advantage, but that is available to everybody else. It doesn't just give me the unique advantage. My unique advantage would be the U still, because people don't have a 3L in their hand, would be my advantage. So at this point, I may say check. Means I'm not going to raise any money, okay? Now, here, this player, now he look at it, he says, gee, I could make a wine, W-I-N-E, right? W-I-N-E in hand, and W is 7 points. With this I with 3L, 3L means 21 points bonus. So 7, 2, 9, 10, 11. 11 plus 21 is 32 points. It's pretty good. And he could certainly, raise a bet and feels that pretty unique to him because W-I-N-E, wine, is pretty good word. So he raises a green chip, which is 10, okay? This is, let's say, 1, 10, 100 in that order. Now, it's this player's hand. Now, there's one more card to come. However, up to this point, he's very disappointed. He can't really do much other than doing wit, which is not bad, W-I-T, okay? But his contribution is a T. T is only 1 point. Everybody else can do W-I something. So definitely this is not a commanding winning hand in that sense, okay? Because he didn't take advantage of the J. Now, if he does J-I something, all right, if there's a word existing, then he might have a unique situation. So at this point, 1 green chip, he feels he folds, okay? Or way to show fold can be many ways. You can say, all right, he's out of the game, Now it's up for me to decide whether I want to continue follow this green chip or not. The way to consider depends on your style and playing, so on. In the poker game, of course, sometimes you allow so-called the bluff, right? But you really should bluff with strengths rather than bluff without knowledge. So if you have a word, for example, PUT definitely is a word, okay? Now, if you know that you can make 4-letter, 5-letter word with your UT, and you feel much more comfortable, and then you can not only follow a green chip, perhaps even raise 2. Now, at this point, I'm trying to see the probability of words that can be made with both I and UT and utilize the high points, okay? Something PUT or DUT or WT with another PI or DI or WI doesn't seem to make a word. So it really, I feel that it may not be to my advantage to continue on. I am a conservative player, and you may say, well, let's try. So I fold, okay? Just for the interest of the audience down there, some people probably disagree with me. You're too conservative. I will show the last card and see whether we both made a right decision or not. Okay, the last card is A, okay? Now, at this point, of course, we already fold this, so this actually now the chips all belong to this player. But if we did play, what could happen? Now, this J says, aha, I can at least make a jaw, J-A-W. And the A has a bonus 2L, that's left side times 2. Okay, J-A-W is 11, 12 plus 2 is 14, and 2 times 11 is 22. 22 plus 14 is 36. So this word jaw, jaw here, makes 34 points, okay? So that's pretty good. All right, so he may have kicked himself, say, missed the chance. And for me, the A, does it help? It may, okay? For example, I could do wait, W-A-I-T. So does this one, by the way, okay? W-A-I-T is 7, 2, 10, 11, with 3 times the 21 as bonus, 11, 21, 32. That jaw is 34, so wait doesn't win. Also, wait is, not unique. He can play wait too, right? So I don't see any other combination to make a word, okay? And here, he made a wine. Actually, he could say wine, add a D. Let's see whether wine beats jaw or not. W-I-N, okay, E-D. W-I-N-E-D. Now, 7, 2, 9, 10, 11, 14. 14 points. Plus the bonus, 3 times 7, 21. 21, 14 is what? 35. Just 1 point beat the jaw. So still, wine would win. So I guess we both actually decided correctly. If we did follow, we would have lost that green chip, okay? So this is how Texas Holden poker game is turned into a learning game we call a Scramble Poker or Scramble Texas Hold'em, okay? As many people already know how to play Texas Hold'em, you can easily pick this up. All you need is a deck of scramble cards, and you can play the same way you would play Texas Hold'em, and the fun is all the same there with every element, okay? The chance, the bluff, the laughter and so on, they all be in the game, except you now also challenge your brain to think about words, okay? The more words, you are better equipped to win. And this, sometimes when you play the game, you will tell yourself, gee, I should have learned more words. I should have learned more words. I would have, this gotta be a word somewhere sometimes, okay? And those are the, building anxiety helps people to build up a good learning habit and keep learning words. So for children, particularly during the vacation, bring a deck of cards and you can play this game for fun, okay? And also you can play across age group. There's no limit. A 7-year-old can play with, 17-year-old or with parents, with grandparents. There's no reason you couldn't, okay? All right, so that's the first game, first demonstration, all right? Now we will continue on the Scramble Poker. As we talked about before, the poker game has many versions. You can buy a book about poker that is this thick, describe all kinds of, but there's some major sort of categories that people are familiar with. One is called draw poker, okay? For example, a 5-card draw poker. I will again show an illustration. This is poker cards, and usually the 5-card draw poker is you deal each player 5 cards. When you have that 5 cards in your hand, you decide what you want to keep. Let's say you already have a pair, and the other 3 cards are not as useful. You might want to discard 1 or 2 and just to change new cards coming in and see whether you can make a better combination, to make it into 2 pair or make it into 3 of a kind or some other combination. And that's called draw poker. And you can play 5-card draw poker or 7-card draw poker. So obviously now you probably, I know you're smart, you say, oh, gee, if that's the case, suddenly we can play Scramble Poker in the draw poker fashion. You deal 5 cards and you look at what words you can make, and if you can't, you would change cards and so on. Okay? Let's try that. Now, every time you should always shuffle your cards because obviously we just play the words and you don't want the words to repeat, so make sure you shuffle the cards randomly and make sure you will have a good distribution or bad distribution, which unknown distribution. All right, now we'll play 5-card draw poker, Scramble 5-card draw poker. I'll deal each with 5 cards. Now, again, let's play real chips. Before you play, you ante in, okay? This kind of rule is up to you, really. Some people prefer to have ante, some don't, okay? This is rules probably introduced by a casino. They have professional dealers, and they like to make some tips. And these ante chips sometimes the money goes to the dealer. It's paying for his service dealing the cards. But in this learning game, we basically use these rules just for fun, so it doesn't matter one way or the other. Okay, now I dealt 5 cards each. Okay. At this point, oops, I only have 4 cards, sorry. I'm missing 5 cards. All right, I am gonna, again, lay down the cards because that way we can all see, okay? Let's say I have the 5 cards this way. Unfortunately, I have too many vowels, 2 E's and U, okay? 3 vowels. Too many vowels, it's not necessarily good for making words. You do need a vowel, but you don't need too many. But this wild card is pretty good. Wild card can be any letter, so that is helpful. However, this particular wild card, the bonus is left plus right, rather than multiply the score of the word. Left plus right means the left side of the letter, right side of the letter is your bonus. Now, since you have all these low point vowels, the bonus doesn't amount to much. So that's not a good combination, okay? Now, again, playing with chips, initially you could either bid or a check or a pass, right? In this case, I choose not to bid any money. I check. Now, let's say it's up to this player's turn. And he has, let me just put this also this way so the camera can see it, all right? Now, this, it's a word already. That's very good, because you can make a unit, U-N-I-T-S, okay? However, U is 2L. You're not using the bonus. There's no letter on the left side of U if you make units, okay? And also, these are all 1 point. It's not high points. So it's probably better to do suits, S-U-I-T, suit, okay, S-U-I-T. At least this S 2 points is multiplied by 2 as a bonus, which is 4 points, okay? So he has a 2 choice, suit or units. I mean, it's a good start, okay? But either case, it's not that high, okay, because the points are low, all right? So figuring at this point, he could also sort of check. That means he would just follow me. Doesn't want to raise any money, okay? Now, the draw poker rules are in the poker books. There are many versions, so I'm not so sure I'm introducing any one is so sort of authentic, but you can make up the rules or pick any book's rules and follow. The purpose is using letter cards rather than the poker cards, okay? Now, let's say this round until this person, let's see what he wants to do. He has 5 letters, okay? Now, he has a C, which is a high point, so 4 points, and obviously he can make a case, C-A-S-E, right? So, and the A is 2L, the C is multiplied by 2, so that's a pretty good start for him, okay? And now, he might feel that, hey, these 2 guys all pass, probably they don't have a good card, so he will say 3. Now, at this point, I really feel that maybe I should gamble the fact that with this wild card, if I can get 2 consonants with high points put on either side of the wild, I could make a lot of points. So I would just say, follow him. And since he already have words, he probably would not give up easily because, you know, units or suit is already a word, and we still have a chance to draw cards, okay? He follows. Now, at this point, each player is allowed to say or to do the exchange, okay? Now, let's say I do first. And I don't need 2 E's, I don't think. And the U has 2 R, which I like to keep, okay? Now, since wild card can be any letter, I don't really necessarily need to have a vowel, okay? This is a kind of a, I can make that E as a E if I want to. But the way we like to see is to have some high point consonant on either side of the wild or on the side of U on the right side, okay? So if that's the case, I will have to think about, let's say, for example, I'm imagining if I have a P drawn up, P-U-N is a word, pung, P, but you want a wild, prune, P-R-U-N-E. If I change a E, I get a P or R. Of course, P is best because P is 6 points on this side. I make prune, and that word, I would have the left side plus the right side, which is 4 point as a bonus because the wild, and the 2 art on this side is not a 2 points bonus. So I say I want to change 1 card. Okay, so I'll get 1 card drawn. Let's say I'm not going to open this yet. Okay, I'm going to see this guy. He also suffers from the fact that it doesn't have a high point, and he doesn't have a bonus other than this L. So if you say S-U-I-T, suit, any letter comes, let's say any letter comes, doesn't help you that much. Let's say you had an E or another S, just add 1 point. What he really probably hope is, again, to have a high point letter, okay, and able to make words out of these letters. Now, this is the time challenge your brains. What letter I really hope to get possibly can make some combination of something